The air in the void's ledger was thick with the metallic tang of recycled oxygen and the acrid scent of ozone from overloaded circuits. Jax clutched his worn datapad, its screen a spiderweb of hairline cracks, the glowing numbers on its display mocking him with their brutal, undeniable finality. A single, desperate bid, the last of his salvaged credits, blinked out of existence in a micro-plunge that felt like a cosmic punch to the gut. He saw the faint, almost ghostly flicker of the Ascendancy corporate logo, a sleek, predatory insignia just before his funds flatlined to zero. This wasn't just a bad trade, he knew with a sickening certainty. This was a targeted hit, a digital ambush by the very architects of the market, designed to systematically bleed out independent traders like him. He could feel the cold, almost silent hum of a debt enforcement drone at the entrance, its single, cyclopean red eye sweeping the cavernous room, a patient, lethal predator waiting for the financially deceased to make their final exit. His meticulously built future, scraped together from cosmic salvage and risky, desperate gambles, had just dissolved into thin air. He had lost everything. Again. A bitter laugh escaped his lips, dry and hollow in the stale air. High above, within the breathtaking, crystalline spires of the Ascendancy financial nexus, Elia's Thorn smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile, but a cold, predatory gleam that danced in his eyes as he surveyed the vast, holographic display before him. The screen hummed with the silent symphony of collapsing fortunes, a digital ballet of red lines plunging into the abyss, representing the plummeting trajectories of thousands of independent traders. Another successful reallocation of assets, wouldn't you say, Kalen? He purred, his voice smooth as polished durasteel, turning slightly to the figure beside him. Kalen, a renowned financial analyst, was almost ethereal in his stillness, his form shifting subtly in the ambient light as if he were part of the data flow itself. He was known for his cryptic market insights, often speaking in riddles, and he merely observed, a faint, knowing smirk playing on his lips, a silent testament to his inscrutable nature. Their portfolios so bloated, Kalen, one pinprick in their dust, Thorn continued, his voice echoing with an arrogant, unshakable confidence through the vast, immaculate chamber. The very air in the nexus seemed to shimmer with wealth and absolute control. Kalen offered no verbal response, only a subtle, almost imperceptible tilt of his head, a gesture that could mean anything, agreement, amusement, or perhaps a hint of something far more complex lurking beneath his calm exterior. Jack stumbled blindly through the skeletal remains of the derelict orbital exchange. Rusted kiosks, long abandoned to the void, still flickered erratically with phantom stock tickers, the ghostly echoes of forgotten fortunes whispering in the frigid, stale air. This place, once a bustling heart of independent trade, a vibrant hub where fortunes were made and lost in a single pulse, was now a hollow, decaying monument to the Ascendancy's relentless dominance. He passed a crumpled, forgotten data contract, its holographic ink faded into illegibility, a testament to a shattered dream. He was a scavenger now, reduced to picking through the digital detritus of collapsed hopes and shattered lives. In a shadowy alcove, illuminated only by the faint, emergency glow strips, Mara sat hunched over a broken console, her gnarled fingers deftly patching frayed circuits with practiced ease. Her face was a roadmap of countless battles, etched with the deep lines of hardship and resilience, her patched and worn jumpsuit a testament to a life lived on the fringes. She grunted as Jax approached, not bothering to look up from her intricate work. "Credits don't win wars, kid. Guts do. You still got either." she rasped, her voice a gravelly whisper that seemed to vibrate with untold stories. Her eyes, though tired and bloodshot, held a fierce spark of defiance that belied her weary posture. Jax clenched his jaw, the bitter taste of defeat mixing with a nascent surge of anger and a desperate, burning resolve. "Enough to make them regret this," he muttered, his voice hoarse with a new and unsettling determination. Mara, with a single, decisive flick of her wrist, pulled up a complex schematic of the galaxy's interconnected data streams. The holographic map pulsed with 1,000 points of light, each representing countless transactions and information flows, a glittering web of commerce. The ascendancies got a chokehold on info flow. Their predictive algorithms aren't just predicting. They're shaping the market, molding it to their will, she explained, her finger tracing invisible lines on the map, highlighting the crucial choke points where information bottlenecked. "We can't outspend them, Jax. That's their game and they've rigged the table. We outsmart them. We hit them where their arrogance is greatest. Their economy's a house of cards, over-leveraged and begging for a breeze. All their carefully constructed projections, their flawless market models, they're built on sand." Jax's mind began to churn, connections forming rapidly in the digital ether of his thoughts. The humiliation of his recent, catastrophic loss fueled a new kind of strategy, a cunning born from desperation. "Good. Then let's be the storm," he said, his voice gaining a quiet intensity that surprised even himself, a steel edge he hadn't known he possessed. His motivation wasn't just about reclaiming his lost fortune anymore. It was about tearing down the whole exploitative system that had crushed so many, including him, beneath its cold, indifferent weight. The data stream bazaar pulsed with a vibrant, almost overwhelming, chaotic energy. It was a living, breathing entity where information was the ultimate currency, exchanged faster than a quantum thought. Iridescent streams of raw data flowed overhead like digital rivers, each current 1,000 whispered secrets, 1,000,000 potential fortunes. Jax, Mara, and surprisingly, Kaelin, moved with practiced ease through the teeming throng of traders, data brokers, and code sifters, their presence almost unnoticed amidst the digital maelstrom. Kaelin, his voice a low, almost hypnotic murmur amidst the digital din, gestured with an elegant hand to a particularly pulsating data stream, thick with complex information. Every pulse, Jax, is a whisper of a deal being struck, every silence a scream of a collapse. The predictive algorithm whispers louder than most, weaving its own truth, its own reality, into the fabric of the market. Their plan was audacious, fraught with peril, and utterly reliant on precision. To inject corrupted data into the ascendancy's pristine supply chain, creating digital phantom assets, and ultimately choking their system's vital liquidity. They're too reliant on their perfect data. They trust it like scripture, like it's infallible. "We flood their system with noise, with static, with lies," Jax said, his fingers already dancing across a portable interface, preparing the digital poison that would unravel their enemy from within. In his grand command center, a space of sleek chrome and blinding light, Elias Thorne watched his market projections with an almost religious fervor. The charts flowed, green lines reaching for the digital heavens, indicating ever-increasing profit. Their little rebellion's bankrupt. Why waste even a single microcredit of ammo on them? He scoffed, addressing a subordinate, his voice dripping with dismissive contempt, an echo of his absolute certainty in his own power. But Kaelin, who now observed from the strategic shadows of Thorne's inner circle, unexpectedly interjected, his voice sharp and unyielding, cutting through Thorne's arrogance. Because bankrupt doesn't mean broken, not yet, Elias. You underestimate human desperation at your peril. Suddenly, klaxons blared, shrill and piercing. Emergency alarms shrieked through the pristine nexus, shattering its serene facade. Phantom trades, impossible asset valuations, and ghost bids flooded the Ascendancy's financial network, appearing and disappearing in blips of digital static, an impossible, chaotic symphony. What in the void is this? Thorn Rod, his face contorting in disbelief, his smug facade finally cracking under the sudden, unexpected pressure. The algorithm, once his flawless oracle, his very god of finance, was spewing gibberish, its perfect logic unraveling into incomprehensible chaos. On the verdant, bioluminescent planet of Ethel, where the very economy shifted with the planet's unique, rhythmic tides, mimicking the ebb and flow of its vast oceans, the native sentient markets were in an unprecedented uproar. Usually a placid flow, a gentle current of commerce, their global financial system was now in violent, unpredictable eddies, reflecting the digital chaos inflicted upon the Ascendancy. The market, normally a perfect mirror of the planet's delicate biorhythms, was experiencing massive, unprecedented swings, causing widespread panic among the Ethelian traders who relied on its predictable harmony. Jax watched the news feeds, projected onto the damp, glowing moss of a cavern wall, a grim satisfaction on his face. We're turning their debt into a weapon. Every bad trade, every false asset, every phantom transaction we've injected, it all becomes a systemic vulnerability for them, a cancer spreading through their core. Mara just nodded, her eyes focused, already strategizing the next crucial move. They built their empire on cold numbers, Jax, on logic, on prediction. We're showing them that human will, that pure defiance, breaks algorithms, no matter how clever or infallible they think they are. The message was becoming clearer with every crashing market. No system, no matter how advanced, no matter how deeply entrenched, was immune to the unpredictable, disruptive force of human ingenuity and sheer, desperate defiance. Thorn's panic escalated, his meticulously maintained composure rapidly dissolving into frantic desperation. His grand algorithm, Aegis, the very core of his financial dominance, his personal deity of prosperity, was unraveling before his eyes. The core integrity of his system, the very bedrock of his power, was under a sustained, inexplicable attack that defied all his predictions. He paced the opulent floor of his command center, a frantic energy radiating from him, his perfectly tailored suit now looking a little rumpled. He realized, with a sudden, chilling jolt of ice in his stomach, that his entire financial infrastructure, built on Aegis's perceived infallibility, was compromised. He had overleveraged his assets, betting everything on the algorithm's perfect predictive power, on its absolute, unyielding logic. Now, his blind faith, his unshakable belief in the numbers, was proving to be his most profound undoing. The cold, logical perfection he had so trusted, the very system that had elevated him to such heights, was turning into a chaotic, uncontrollable nightmare, devouring itself from within. The vast, glimmering expanse of the asteroid belt, normally a bustling hub of intense mining operations for rare assets that fueled galactic markets, was eerily quiet. The rhythmic thrum of excavators and the roar of transport ships were conspicuously absent. The price of Nixium, the galaxy's most volatile and valuable asset, was plummeting, dropping faster than a derelict freighter caught in a gravitational anomaly. This was a direct consequence of the widespread financial chaos they had unleashed, a crippling blow to the Ascendancy's essential resource supply, a fundamental disruption to their very means of production. Jax, Mara, and Kalen had retreated to a hidden pocket within the treacherous, labyrinthine asteroid belt. Their temporary base, a functional yet cramped maze of scavenged tech and improvised defenses. We're not just disrupting their markets, Jax, we're choking their supply lines. They can't move assets, they can't acquire raw materials. Zero liquidity in their critical resources, Mara stated, her voice calm and steady amidst the growing storm of their own making, a testament to her battle-hardened resilience. The ripple effects of their digital sabotage were spreading far beyond the financial networks, impacting the very physical bedrock of the Ascendancy's power, turning their physical might into inert metal. Kalen, his voice softer than usual, almost a whisper that cut through the low hum of their scavenged tech, revealed the true, chilling twist. He projected a complex, previously hidden schematic onto the rock wall of their asteroid hideout. The Aegis algorithm isn't just a predictive tool, Elia's grand design. It's a key, a backdoor, a quantum-encrypted entry point to a hidden cache of forgotten financial data buried deep within the very fabric of the galactic network. Data that, if unlocked, could swing the galactic markets with unimaginable, decisive force. Both sides, Jax, both sides need it to win this war to truly win. He spoke of secret, ancient repositories, shrouded in legend, known only as the Stasis Vaults, rumored to hold a fortune so vast, so utterly transformative, it could rewrite the economic landscape of the entire galaxy, reshaping power for centuries to come. Jax's eyes widened, a tremor running through him, a mixture of awe and fear. This wasn't just about survival anymore. This was about absolute power, about resetting the galactic economy from the ground up, perhaps even destroying it. He felt a profound moral tug-of-war, a deep internal conflict between his burning desire for justice and the unsettling realization that, by wielding such power, he might be about to become just another exploiter, another tyrant, wielding a new kind of economic weapon. The broker, a notorious black market kingpin whose true identity was a whispered legend, made his presence known. He was a cryptic figure, known for manipulating both sides of any conflict for his own immense, unfathomable profit. He appeared to Jax, Mara, and Kalen not in person, but as a flickering, slightly distorted holographic projection, his face obscured by digital static, his voice a low, gravelly rasp that seemed to vibrate with untold secrets. "I sold my soul for that algorithm, Jax. Don't make me regret it," he hissed, the words chilling in their intensity, hinting at the true decryption key's devastating, almost apocalyptic potential. He wanted a cut, a big one, a slice of the universe itself. He offered the key to Jax for a staggering price, a significant percentage of the Stasis Vault's fortune, a sum that would make a planetary ruler weep, and exclusive control over a newly opened, incredibly lucrative trade route that he alone could provide access to. It was a devil's bargain, a direct challenge to Jax's still-forming moral compass, a true test of his burgeoning leadership. Jax was faced with an excruciating choice, the weight of a galactic conflict resting heavily on his shoulders. The cold, hard reality of their options hung in the air. Do we crash their markets completely and starve their people, leaving countless civilians destitute, their lives shattered? Or do we fight fair, adhere to some moral code, some semblance of honor, and likely lose everything we've gained, sacrificing our victory for a flawed ideal? Mara looked at him, her gaze unwavering, her seasoned eyes holding no illusions about the brutal realities of war. "Fair fights are for fools in a war for survival, kid," This isn't a game, it's life or death. Their system is designed to crush us, and you want to play by their rules. Kalen, ever the pragmatist, added, his voice devoid of emotion, a cold, calculating edge to it. Markets don't care about your lasers, they crash all the same, no matter how powerful your weapons, no matter how noble your intentions. We leverage their arrogance, Jacks, not their credits. We use their own rules against them, exploit their blind faith in their own infallibility. Jacks knew, with a gut-wrenching certainty, what he had to do. The goal was to dismantle their power, not to become like them, but to ensure they could never again wield such destructive economic force. He struck a deal with the broker, a choice that would haunt him, but one he believed was necessary for the greater good. The climax arrived with a deafening digital roar. Thorn, frantic and desperate, his face a mask of sweat and fear, activated an emergency purge protocol on Aegis, hoping to cleanse the corrupted data and restore his empire. But Jax, guided by Kalen's precise, whispered instructions, had anticipated this desperate move. Their coordinated attack, amplified by the broker's powerful decryption key, began to systematically dismantle Aegis from within, not a violent crash, but a precise, controlled implosion. Thorn watched in horrified disbelief as his entire financial empire, built on the illusion of perfectly controlled algorithms and precariously over-leveraged assets, began to crumble, line by line, credit by credit. "This is impossible," he screamed, his voice raw with disbelief, his smug facade finally shattering into 1,000 pieces of digital dust, revealing the terrified man beneath. The Grand Oracle, his ultimate tool of control, was eating itself alive. In the tumultuous aftermath, Jax, using the newly decrypted data from the stasis vaults, executed a series of calculated, precise trades. It wasn't a reckless surge, but a surgical redirection, carefully funneling ascendancy assets into neutral, humanitarian funds across the galaxy, effectively draining their war chest without causing outright economic collapse or mass starvation. It was a strategic amputation, not a scorched earth policy, a testament to Jax's evolving moral compass. Mara watched, a rare, genuine smile gracing her lips, her eyes filled with a quiet pride. Guts, kid, always guts. The credits are just a way to keep score. It's the will that matters. The Ascendancy's suffocating chokehold on the galactic markets was decisively broken. Their advanced technology, their formidable military, could not compensate for their fundamental economic fragility, their over-reliance on a single, now broken, system. The financial empire of Elias Thorn was no more. The final scene unfolded on a newly greened platform of the orbital exchange, bathed in the soft glow of revitalized life. The derelict, rusted signs were gone, replaced by gleaming new holographic displays and vibrant market boards. The Void's ledger was reopened, but this time it was transparent, fair, and accessible to all. Jack stood amidst the gentle hum of renewed commerce, watching traders exchange goods and data with newfound trust. He hadn't reclaimed his exact lost fortune, not directly, but he had accomplished something far greater. He had toppled an exploitative system and helped build something better in its place. Kalen, leaning casually against a newly installed market hologram, offered a rare, genuine smile, a hint of warmth in his usually detached demeanor. "The markets are a reflection of us, Jax, and today they reflect something new, something honest." The ominous debt enforcement drones were gone, replaced by bustling community traders and the cheerful chatter of free exchange. The inherent fragility of wealth in chaos was starkly evident. But so too was the unwavering, indomitable strength of human will, proving that even the most powerful algorithms could be broken by a determined heart.